What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to Maps Exposed. This is a series where I go over all the lines of sight, as well as any other sort of secret spots that I know of on every map in Black Ops 4 multiplayer. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the newest DLC maps, and I'm also going to be including my thoughts on these maps as part of this series. I kind of wanted to mix that in there. And we're going to kick it off with WMD, which is just WMD from Black Ops 1. As you guys can see here, it is the same skin and everything, updated textures a little bit for the newer gen, but other than that, it's exactly the same map. So let's start getting into the jump spots here. The first thing is over in this area, we've got the catwalk there. That's where all the snipers and LMG users will really love to go, so you really have to be aware of that spot. And it's really obvious. You can use the ladder to get up there, but a couple less obvious spots. You can jump from here up onto this pipe, and then from this pipe, this is a much better spot. If you want to get a nice angle on the B flag or anybody in those windows, this is one of the biggest power positions on this map. And from here also, you can jump up into the catwalk. If you are going to be up here, I wouldn't recommend standing right up in this area. I would recommend coming back towards this way and using this as some concealment. They can still shoot through it really easily, but it's a little bit better than standing right out in the open. Now, another thing from this catwalk is you can interact with this, which just moves this and that thing over a little bit. It's really not that practical. It doesn't change things up all that much. Just wanted to point out you can do it from there, as well as from down here. You can do the exact same thing. Now, another thing you can do is you can get on top of that area there, so you can either climb up the ladder, get on the catwalk. You can come up over this way here and mantle up like that. That's a little trick that you can use, and you can get on top of this area right here. And it seems like it wouldn't be all that great, but it is great for challenging the people that are in that broken wall over there, which is relatively common. And also, as long as you're using this pillar for cover, it can be a good way to challenge people that are in those windows. They don't normally expect you right here. Now, getting towards the middle of the map right here, first up, we have this truck here, and this is just like in Black Ops 1. You can shoot through these areas right here, or you can go prone, and you can shoot anybody through there, but you are relatively easy to spot, and the WMD veterans will know exactly where to look for you. Also, with this truck, you can use it to jump up here and get on top of this catwalk around this area here. Just a little alternative rather than coming up that way or on the ladder. Now, right here, they have adjusted the spot a little bit, so it's a bit more difficult. But what you can do is if you jump and you land a little bit to the left side here on these pallets, look at that. Great line of sight in towards like the C flag area, and anybody that's coming through there, they don't normally expect this. Just keep in mind, like I said, they have adjusted this. If you go too far to the right, it'll just suddenly kick you off that ledge. So it does take a little bit of practice to land that consistently. Now, pretty obvious here, if you want to get up into the windows, you can easily jump into that area there or through the window right there. But this one's a little bit less obvious. From here, you can also jump into that window. It does take a little bit of practice to hit that. It's not the easiest jump to make, but then again, it's not all that difficult either. Now, right in this area here, you can hop up on this railing, and that gives you a bit of a line of sight back there, which isn't all that useful because normally you don't have people back there. And also, just an interesting thing I wanted to point out, you can jump on top of this roof, but you will slide off. You can't stay on top of it. You'll just slide right off of there. You might make that work in some really specific sort of situation. Now, getting over in this area here, if you happen to get yourself behind this tank here and there's enemies that are down low inside this building and you kind of get yourself trapped here, you can't really peek them too effectively without exposing your entire body to them. One thing you can do, though, is if you go prone, there you go. Perfect line of sight on those people. You can also kind of use this looking either way, but it's not nearly as good as just getting a little line of sight into that doorway. Also from this spot, I can't quite remember. In Black Ops 1, I think you could do this, but I can't quite remember, so I wanted to point it out. You can jump this way, which is really nice to get into this area here, rather than coming around through the warehouse, which is exactly where they'd expect you to come from. Now, getting over to this area here, this round thing right here, you can hop up right here, and there you go. Great line of sight on the people coming around the corner there. Just be aware, you're super exposed to anybody that's on the catwalk up there. Also back here, some people didn't realize you can actually come up on this area here, and this is another fairly common camping spot. So they'll come up the ladder like this and use these sandbags for cover, which does offer you some pretty good cover. Just a little alternative, if you guys didn't notice, you can jump up here and get up here much easier than taking the ladder. It's way faster. So that's pretty much everything I have for you guys for WMD. Personally, I love WMD. I did like it back in the Black Ops 1 days as well. Although I will say, and I have said this before, I'm not really a fan of how they implemented it as part of our 1 of 12 Black Ops Pass maps. Keeping in mind, traditionally we had 16 Black Ops Pass maps. Out of the 12 that we get, one of them is just a straight up remaster. They didn't even reskin it or reimagine it. It's just a remaster of an existing map from a previous game. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I feel if they're just going to straight up remaster a map, it should just be a bonus. And since we're getting fewer maps than ever in our Black Ops Pass, I think they should all be new maps. But that's just my opinion. I do like WMD, and I am glad that it is in the game. This brings us to the next map in this DLC pack, and this is Masquerade, starting it off at the A domination flag area. There's this little building here, which does have a ladder that you can climb, but I just want to point out, you don't need to use the ladder. Just jump up. It's much faster. You don't have to mess around with any animations climbing up there. It's really not a super special building to be on top of. Just wanted to point out that thing that you can do. Now, getting over to this area here, as you come to the right side of the map, you can hop up on the van here and crouch. You get a little bit of concealment from the fence here, and there you go. A little bit of a line of sight into the people on that boat, which is really nice. Now, getting in towards the middle of the map here, most of the spots that I'm going to be showing you guys will revolve around that area there as well as that area there. These are the power positions, especially in domination. That spot right there controls the entire game. It's a completely lopsided map. The other side of the map has a huge advantage because you literally can't capture B without being in somebody's line of sight that's on that balcony, and they can be a little bit hard to take out of there, but I've got some great spots to counter them for you guys. So first up, and this is one of my favorite spots, is if you come back to this area right here, all you have to do is hop up on this fence like this, and there you go. Great line of sight on the people that are on that balcony. They don't normally look back in this area, so you can pick them off really easily. Also gives you a great line of sight on this balcony, so you can pick those people off. So this is one that is really effective. I will be using this very often, especially when I'm playing domination, and they've got that side locked down. Another great line of sight to the people that are on that side over there is if you're coming up onto this area here, just peek through this area like that, and there you go. You'll be exposing very little of yourself, and you'll be able to pick them off. They don't normally see that coming. As for if you're pushing towards this side of the map and you have somebody locking down that power position right there, they'll pick you off pretty much every time if you try and just come around this corner because you have no cover to challenge them. However, if you come back behind this float right here, you can actually head glitch this perfectly so you can expose exactly the right amount of yourself that you want to challenge those people and easily take them out from here. Now, getting to the other side of those power positions, those are still power positions if you're coming out of this spawn as well. So really powerful to be there. One thing I like to do, if somebody's up there, I suspect somebody's up on one of these balconies, instead of coming up like this and then mantling right into potentially their line of sight, because oftentimes they'll just sit back so you can't see them until you hop up. A better way of challenging them, I find, is to hop up on one of these first. It'll give you a great line of sight on everything you need to see there, and you can pick them off before deciding to make your jump across like this. Also, using these vehicles over here, I just wanted to point out with this one, if you hop up like that, there you go. Great line of sight into the window over there, and they're not normally looking over in this direction because it doesn't seem like you should be able to get a great line of sight from here, but you definitely do. Another thing in domination, and this is another reason that this side of the map is the side that you definitely want in domination, is from over in this area here. If you go prone, look at that. Perfect line of sight. You can see a really good portion of the capture area. Not quite all of it, but you can see most of it, and you can easily pick them off. They normally won't see that coming. Now, getting onto this float here, the one that's a boat, if you hop up like this, you got a great line of sight using this cannon to get a line of sight in that window there, and they won't normally expect that. Also, from right here, you get a nice little line of sight on towards the B flag like that. Just keeping in mind you are quite exposed here, and your enemies are likely going to come from that direction. Just wanted to point out you can see through there, though. Also, if you're coming from this direction and you want to challenge people up in that power position, instead of challenging them from here, which is pretty much exactly where they expect you to be coming from, I like to jump up on top of the railing right here and crouch. There you go. Great line of sight through there. They don't normally see that one coming. And that's pretty much it for the spots I have for you guys on Masquerade. This map, I actually like it quite a bit. I think it's structured nicely. However, it is very big for 5v5. I think it plays well in domination, aside from the fact that the one side has a clear advantage over the other side. I think the B flag itself could be moved a little bit just to give a capture area to the people coming from the A domination side that can't be seen from those power positions. Aside from that, though, like I said, I think it's a little bit big, especially for like TDM and kill confirmed. It will almost always go to the time limit, which I'm not a fan of. I think this map would play great if there was a ground war mode, if it was like 9v9. I think this would be an awesome map for that. But finally, let's move on to the last map of this pack, and this is Artifact. And Artifact, I honestly don't have too many spots for you because you can go so many places, and there aren't really predictable positions on this map. It's kind of a big cluster. You never know what you're gonna get, and there's lines of sight to and from everywhere. But I did want to point out over here, there's this little slide which you can't stop on at all. You will just slide across, and it is just a one-way thing. You can't jump back this way. Kind of a little bit of a gimmicky thing. Not really all that useful in my opinion. Over towards the B flag, there's a little bit of a jump spot here. If you want to get up to that area there, it's relatively obvious, but you can jump up on this truck and then jump across like that. Over on this side of the map, we have these geysers. There's actually 3 of them. So there's one here, and then one over in this direction here. And these can kill you if you're standing on them when they go off. They do give you a little bit of an advance warning, though. You'll start to see them bubble up a little bit before they actually go off. So just be aware of that. Let's see if we can catch one in action here. I don't know exactly what the timing is. There we go. That one's bubbling up a little bit. You can see before it popped, it was bubbling a bit. This one's starting to bubble, and it'll launch you if you get caught in there. And finally, on this side of the map over here by Sea Domination, this is an extremely powerful position because you can just head glitch this all you want and pick everybody off. If you got a sniper rifle or any sort of long-range gun, this will lock down this entire side of the map really effectively. Aside from that, like I said, there's really not much to say about this map when it comes to lines of sight because you can go on top of pretty much everything, and there's lines of sight from everywhere. And that's one of the reasons I really don't like the layout of this map. I think the environment itself is beautiful. I like the idea of it. You got the glacier, you've got the whole Icelandic sort of scenery. I think it looks really cool, but it plays really, really bad in my opinion. There are so many lanes. It's such a big map. You can get shot from pretty much any direction. Also, the way the textures are, enemies tend to blend in really, really easily, and it's hard to be able to tell where they can and can't be since they can jump on top of so many things. This map, in my opinion, is just a big mess when it comes to playing, and I really don't like it. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for Maps Exposed on the DLC 3 maps. Keep in mind, I haven't covered DLC 2 yet. I got a little bit behind there. I will get to those eventually. But if you guys have missed any of the previous episodes to this series, I have covered all of the base maps in the game. I will leave a link to the playlist down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time. Yeah.